What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, for this video that I'm about to do, I want you guys to take a listen to something because of what I'm getting ready to get into. I want you guys to listen. And there's several different clips I can play that pretty much he's saying the same thing, and then you'll understand why I'm doing this. I'll explain to you why I'm doing this. This is right after the Gennady Golovkin Canelo
Hello.
fight, the last fight.
Canelo, saludos, campeón, on winning this trilogy with Triple G. I'm sorry to ask you this after you go a hard 12 rounds about what's next, but we know you have talked about the Bivol rematch next, but you've also said you hope Ramirez wins that fight. And if Ramirez wins that fight, you don't want to fight him because you're both Mexican. So at 68, the best fight looks like you and Benavides. He's born in America. He's half Ecuadorian. So does he count as Mexican, or that fight can happen if in the future?
I don't know. Anything can happen, you know.
But that won't be a reason why I can hold it up that he's Mexican.
Like when I guys, always I say this. You share that video and put whatever you want. When I say I don't want to fight Mexican, it's because I represent Mexico, and that's why. But I don't care. I fight anybody, and I fight all my entire life anybody. What do you think? I don't want to fight with Juan Mexico or Benavides. But look, I hear his dad talking a lot of shit. But look, he's accomplished nothing. One single champion, Anthony Derrell. Please, don't disrespect myself. Please, guys.
Now, you heard what Canelo said, and I'll be the first one to say a lot of times the reporters ask stupid questions. Okay? I think it's more stupid to ask that type of question right there before he got in the ring with Triple G, because Triple G is the guy that's going to be across the ring from him. Okay? You always expect them to ask those type of questions afterwards. The reason that this reporter had to ask Canelo Alvarez this question and say, I hate to ask you this question right after your victory. Okay. But he breaks down to Canelo, his question and why. And he says to him that he's half Ecuadorian or whatever, talking about Benavides. So does he count as being Mexican? Simply because Canelo, not Jamal Charlo, not Andre Ward, not Paulie Malignaggi, not Max Kellerman, said he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. So he clearly said he wants Ramirez to beat Bivol. Now, look at the contradiction. He wants Ramirez to beat Bivol, right? Now, this is after, now mind you, he said he wanted to fight Bivol. He wanted the rematch with Bivol, right? But listen, he wants Ramirez to beat Bivol. Okay? But then he says he doesn't want to fight Ramirez because Ramirez is Mexican and he represents Mexico. So he doesn't want to fight Mexicans. Then he says he'll only fight Bivol if Bivol wins. If Bivol wins, then no rematch. So he doesn't really want the rematch. Because otherwise, he knows it makes no sense that if Bivol loses, well, why? Okay, now it doesn't really matter. Why? Because Bivol beat him. So it really, this is what makes this situation different, okay? Is because it's not like he beat Bivol, or let's say he beat Bivol in a decision that was controversial. Bivol clearly beat him. So even if Ramirez had to beat him, right? You don't think that it's a common thing for people to say, well, shit, he lost to Bivol. If Ramirez beats Bivol, then that'll be two ass whoopings pretty much, because he'll probably beat Canelo too, right? Okay. But for him to say he doesn't want to fight Ramirez if he win, he said he's not gonna fight Ramirez. Not even I don't want to. He's not gonna fight Ramirez because he's a Mexican and he represents Mexico. Right? This is Canelo's words. Okay, so wouldn't you want Bivol to win so you have a reason to go in there? Right? And it doesn't matter, like I said, if people can't say, well, he's coming off a loss. You coming off a win against Triple G, which you should have. But he couldn't get rid of Triple G. And Triple G is washed. He's definitely not the same. Canelo just contradicted himself in that same sentence right there. Okay? Then he says that I hear Benavides' father talking a lot of shit. He says, but look, Benavides has done nothing. He only beat one champion in Durrell. We know John Ryder had a fight and people are saying that he was robbed and all, but what has John Ryder actually done? You telling me that John Ryder is more deserving than Benavides? Are you telling me that the fans are demanding you and John Ryder that that's the fight they really wanted to see? Are you telling me you think John Ryder beats Benavides? And people can see this is what Canelo fanboys are doing. Let's just be real. The majority of them are constantly praising. You know what's crazy? Canelo fans will shoot down his opponent before the fight, but after the fight, they'll give him all the props in the world because he got his ass kicked, but he tried. Same way he did Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant's pillow fisted. He can't fight. Caleb Plant's not on his level. All of the things that they said, but all of a sudden, oh, I got much respect for Plant now because he tried. So now we're just rewarding the losers of fights now. Now the loser gets more praise in the loss than they do in the win. Like this is like crazy, right? So think about it. If Benavides doesn't deserve a shot, how the hell did John Ryder? And basically, if you're saying that Benavides did nothing, he's no threat to you, then that should have been Benavides in there Saturday instead of John Ryder. Because if Benavides has done nothing, that means he doesn't have the necessary experience to beat you. That means he didn't grind enough. He doesn't have that toughness, that dog. He hasn't developed into what he should be, right? To be on your level. And John Ryder was. Also, here's the situation. I'm looking at, what's going on with the 168-pound division. Guess what? For those who may not know, this I knew, but I really wasn't paying attention to the other guy who I'm about to speak about. Benavides is Canelo's mandatory for the WBC title at 168. Guess who's his WBA mandatory? David Morrell. He's saying he wants to fight Bivol. And I'm going to tell you exactly, I'm going to reiterate what I told you. If he was to fight Bivol at 168, right? It only makes sense if all of his belts is on the line. The reason why, if he actually does fight Bivol again, is he wants it at 175. Now, if he says he wants to make that accomplishment, he's going to make a second attempt to try to beat Bivol at 175. Okay, fine. But he also knows, like I said, if he loses the Bivol again, it doesn't harm him at 168. So now, here's the position that he's in. You have two solid competitors as mandatories. Now, when he says, I fight anybody, I don't care, then why are you're the one saying you don't want to fight a Mexican. You're the one that said it. It's not like someone made it up and said that and people are asking you based on a rumor. You said you don't want to fight Mexicans. So who's wrong for that? That's your words. So that being said, If Canelo fights Bivol, I believe Bivol beats him again. Now he comes back down to 168. I'm not so sure that he won't vacate his WBC. Just for the simple fact of not fighting Benavides. And that right there will be his excuse that Benavides has done nothing. Well, for that matter, if he's your mandatory and you drop the belt, that's a duck. Let's say he chooses to fight Morrell first. I think Morrell will beat Canelo, first off. But let's say he fights Morrell. Morrell beats him, but he has his other titles. At what point does he actually fight Benavides? And if he gets beat by Morrell first, then vacates, it makes him look even worse. Because it's like you got your ass kicked by Bivol, you came back down, got your ass kicked by your mandatory and David Morrell, and then you vacated your belt so you wouldn't have to fight Benavides because you were scared of getting your ass kicked again. And see, I'm not so sure that Canelo really actually thinks that he can beat Benavides. You can't sit here and tell me that the Smiths and the Billy Joe Saunders and all these other guys that you fought, the Riders, the rematch with Golovkin, the third fight, you cannot possibly tell me that you think that these guys are better than Benavides. For the people who never heard of Dimitri Bivol, well, you didn't have a reason to think that he'd beat Canelo, right? If you didn't know who he was. And if you did know, well, he's basic, but it shows you basic boxing can take you far when you have discipline and you can stick to, he's a good boxer. So don't get it twisted when I say basic. That doesn't mean he can't box. It's just he doesn't do anything special. He just sticks to what works for him, and that's what he does. Okay? So at the end of the day, I'm sitting there looking at this thinking, yeah, so what direction does Canelo really want to go? What direction does he want to go? And he already said the same thing about Demetrius Andre. He's a horrible fighter. He's done nothing. So then who has done something? Who have you fought lately that has actually deserved an actual shot? Because the fights that everybody want to see you in are the ones that, for some reason, those fighters have done nothing. And that's what you're telling. You're not saying that just about the fighter to the reporter, but that's what you're telling the fans. Look, guys, listen. These guys that you want me to fight have done nothing. You guys don't deserve that fight. That's an insult to me. He doesn't belong in the ring with me. That is what you're saying. So what's he gonna do? Just think about it. I don't think he beats Bivol. I strongly believe Bivol put the smash on him again, and probably worse this time. I don't think he beats Morrell, and I don't think he beats Benavides. In either situation, just think about it. Why? Just think about it. Why would you say, so wait, you're rooting for your countrymen to win a fight against a rival of yours because it's your countrymen. But if your countrymen win, you won't fight him because he's your countryman. But you want him to beat the guy that beat you. And if that guy that beat you loses, then you won't fight him. So this way, you don't have to fight either guy anyway. Well, with your franchise championship, your invisible championship that allows you to go up and down and wait and fight whoever you want, right? Who would you go up there and fight then? Because if you're going to go to 175 and you're not going to fight Arthur Beterbiev, then who cares about who you go to 175 to fight? See, all the fanboys, oh, he dared to be great. You got to give him credit. I ain't got to give him shit. All right? Canelo has done a lot. Canelo's a solid fighter. But that has nothing to do with what he's doing right now. And that's the whole point of what people keep. They're trying to live off of what he did in the past. So, he's holding on to these belts. Okay, holding on to these belts. I keep telling you guys, the belts are bargaining chips. When you have titles, you have more bargaining chips than having none, right? Well, he has all of them at 168. Ask yourself an honest question. Who in the fuck wanted to see him fight John Ryder? Who? So at the end of the day, for him to say Benavides has done nothing, Demetrius Andre has done nothing, for him to say that, and not only that, he was at 160 with Jamal Charlo. Charlo was calling him out on a regular. He never fought Charlo. So Charlo's done nothing. Yet, Billy Joe Saunders and John Ryder and all these other guys have done something. Why do you think he took Caleb Plant instead of Benavides? Why do you think that? He knows between the two, Caleb was the easier of the two. He felt that. He saw that. Yeah, I think Benavides beats Caleb. And he said that himself, that Benavides beats Caleb. And you didn't take Benavides. And the excuse was because he's Mexican. So once again, now even though this is after the Gennady fight, he just said the same thing the other day as far as, at the post conference about, anything. What's the first thing he said when he said, so at 168, do you fight Benavides? I don't know. Listen, anything can happen. No. There's a difference when you have to fight someone because your back is against the wall. They're your mandatory. Either you fight them or you're getting stripped. Or you're fighting someone just because of their rank and this is what your team want. The question is, do you want to fight Benavides? We don't want to hear about you being Mexican. We know you're Mexican. We know that. So what? That's a difference. Like example, when he was fighting Floyd, you think they said, well, there's nothing else to do. Might as well. No, I want to fight Floyd. I want that fight. How he keeps expressing how he would love to fight Floyd in a rematch, even though him and Floyd fought back in 2013, was it? Way back when. Yet, he still talks about that and people bringing up Floyd's name. At this point, you should be saying, man, why would I want to fight Floyd now? Floyd is retired, moved on, doing exhibitions, man. That fight happened, it's over with. So if you still want to fight Floyd, well, what weight you going to fight Floyd at? Are you going to go back to 154? Is it going to be a catch weight? You should be over that. You understand what I mean? So if you can give an emphatic yes, I would love to fight Floyd in a rematch, why can't you say the same thing about Benavides? That's the whole point. It's always, you never know. Oh, no, I don't know. But then you say, I'll fight anybody. When I say I don't want to fight Mexican, it's because I represent Mexico. Duh, Canelo. Duh. We get that. That's not something that's complex. We get it. But you're the one saying this shit, but then you're acting like someone is putting words in your mouth or twisting what you mean. No, I don't want to fight another Mexican because I represent Mexico means I don't want to fight him. But what you're trying to do is say, oh, I'm not scared of Benavides. I just don't want to fight him because he's my countryman. Which don't mean shit to us. It means nothing to us. It should mean nothing to him, and it should mean nothing to the people of Mexico. You think Julio Cesar Chavez, who grew up in Mexico, decided, oh, I'm only going to fight Asian fighters, black fighters, white fighters, anything other than Mexicans? No. You fight who you have to. He's fought Mexicans in the past. It just so happens that the one most deadly Mexican right now that's at 168 happened to be somebody that's a possible opponent. So, yeah. I mean, just to say that. And then he doesn't want to fight Ramirez. Remember what Zito Ramirez said? Yeah, he'd love to fight Canelo. I don't know why he's saying that. I don't care where you from. Zito don't care. What happens when they have boxing matches in Mexico? Do they put Mexican fighters against everybody else except for other Mexicans? So Canelo's, him saying that, yeah, let's not forget these words, because that mentality he has may still be that thinking process may still be there, where he's saying, I don't want to fight Benavides. Regardless, I don't care if he's Mexican or whatever. I just don't want to fight Benavides. And I don't think he's confident that he can beat Benavides. I think he was confident because of Bivol being a basic guy that he thought he could beat him. Let's remember something. He went up in weight to fight Bivol. Okay, it's not like he had to fight Bivol, like Bivol was some mandatory or something. He don't have a title at 175, right? He went up there, and he basically decided that he was going to go and try to take Bivol's belt, and it didn't work. Okay, so just say, even when he went up to fight Bivol, Benavides was already there. Okay, he was already there. What if Floyd would have told you when you was 23 years old, you haven't done enough? You beat nobody. What if he would have told you that? You would have never got your shot. At least you got your shot. So, and not to mention, you're 3-4 years younger than what Floyd was when Floyd fought you. And guess how old, Benavides is what now? 24? Just turned 20. So, at the end of the day, man, you guys gotta, look, for Canelo, as long as, and he said he's going to be around for a long time. So as long as he's going to be around fighting, I will never give him or any other fighter a free pass to say that they can fight whoever they want if they're champion. Now, if you're just hanging around, you're in the sport, but you're not fighting for championships, you're not holding the division up, and that's just what you choose to do, to just fight here and there against whoever, that's on you. And if you're doing that, you can't sit here and cry about your position, because you got to get there and fight the fights that people want to see. Now, Canelo, great champion and all that, whatever his accomplishments. Then I hear this guy talking about Canelo's not slipping. He's getting better. Now, you're saying that, after Bivol beats him, what's the excuse going to be? Oh, Bivol's just too big. That's all. John Ryder, who got beat up by him, said Canelo's past his prime. You know why? Because John Ryder knows he didn't belong in that ring with Canelo. And Canelo couldn't get rid of him. And basically, John Ryder was in a position of, I'm here for the taking, but this guy's not going for the kill. We've seen a lot of fighters. When we seen Chavez come in with that killer instinct, that go forward style, pressure style, we saw him get to the point where he was throwing one punch at a time, more laid back, taking his time, and he started getting tagged a lot more. We seen, Mike Tyson, fast on his feet, good footwork, good head movement, everything. And we seen him reduce to one punch at a time, and start getting hit a lot more. And so on. I could just, we can go on. But what happens? What happens, when you have people telling you that you're getting better? You're not slipping or whatever. And you start believing this shit. I don't think Canelo's washed up. But what I'm saying is, what I seen him do against Ryder, he knocked Kovalev out. He caught him with the shot and got him out of there. But this is the same Canelo that fought Kovalev and has been fighting that way for a while. It's just that you expected him to destroy Ryder. We expected him to destroy Triple G in the last fight. And he couldn't get them out of there. Now, yes, fighters can come in. Their mind is made up that I'm not going anywhere. They come prepared, at least mentally. Enough to, hey, fuck it. This guy's whooping my ass, but I'm going to keep trying. That does happen. But at the same time, man, you can't possibly think that you saying that you don't want to fight Mexican fighters, and you even was willing to not fight Bivol in the rematch if he lost to Ramirez. How much do you really want to fight this guy? Like how much? So, point is, unless Canelo tries to give someone step aside money for him to fight somebody else, or unless he relinquishes the title, he has no choice other than to fight his mandatory. And basically, I think that's 3 losses for Canelo. Yeah, because I think Bivol, Morrell, and Benavides all beats him. Where he goes from here, we'll just have to see. But I just wanted to play that and run that back because people forget. Or they act like people are putting words in the guy's mouth. He even act like saying like they, he felt insulted because that's my what I'm getting from him is he think that people are saying that he's scared. Yeah, we're saying you're scared. You talking about you don't want to fight another Mexican. That's supposed to be a reason to us? No, man, that's an excuse to not fight this guy, man. All of a sudden you're so patriotic to, oh, I don't want to fight other Mexican fighters. No, stop that shit, man. And you know what? You be helping your countryman get a shot and helping him to make a lot of money getting in there with you. You understand? And that's the one thing that people always gave Canelo credit for is because Canelo, his side, they pay their opponents good. Unlike a Tyson Fury, who a fight won't happen unless he get the lion's share of the money. Mr. Greedy, Mr. I want everything. Mr. I don't care about you feeding your family. It's all about what I want. That's what Tyson Fury does. Canelo was never accused of that. People always gave Canelo props for that he does make sure that, his opponents get a nice paycheck as well. So you be helping your countrymen to get a paycheck, a nice big paycheck. So why would you deny him that? So yeah, you want to represent your country. That's all good. Yeah, whatever. But you do it. You fight him. He has his chance. Win, lose, or draw. You came in there. You guys, did what you had to do. And at the end of the day, it's on to the next one. So, if you was to say you want to see more fighters make it, or we have a lot of talented Mexican fighters that the world doesn't get to see, and you want to help them, and okay, well, start. You started. You set it off. Fight Benavides and help him make money. That's how fighters. That's how you guys help each other. That's how you get these paychecks by fighting. You don't get paid for telling people that you can beat each other. You get paid to go in there and show and prove. So, I just wanted to revisit that because when I'm looking at the fact that his WBA mandatory is David Morrell, his WBC mandatory is David Benavides, and the fact that he stated that he doesn't want to fight Mexicans, and isn't it funny how now all of a sudden he decides to make his mind up that he wants to go up and fight Bivol. So I don't know if something may end up going wrong and it's a postponement again. Who knows, man? I don't know. But right now, Canelo don't sound too confident. And if people are being real with him, I don't care how much you want him to win. Canelo just looks flat. And this is not a ring rush thing. And that's why I told you guys in the last video I made. Go back and look at him all the way back to Kovalev. Just look at how he fights. He's not loading up and throwing them combinations unless he feels he got you. He see that you can't get away from his shots. If he has to find you, he'll just keep coming. He doesn't get off the ring. He just follows you around the ring. And that's why they had that small ass ring. You guys don't realize that? That was the small. I haven't seen a ring that small. That was a tiny ring they was in. Yeah. So Roddy can't get away from him. And he still didn't knock him out. And one of the reporters was asking him at the post conference about the knockout, and he was, well, we always go for the knockout, but you can't always get the knockout, which is true. But yeah. And you know why they're asking him that? Because it's John Ryder. So yeah. Just something to think about. Because either direction, whether it's Bivol, whether it's Benavides, whether it's Morrell, it's no easy fight. Now, he beat them 3 guys, then he's elevated to okay. Yeah. Because especially when you at a point where people feel like, nah, I don't see him winning. And I'm one of them. I don't see him beating any one of them. Not with what I'm seeing him doing now. And I don't see how he's going to tap into anything to do anything different. Because for one, I'll say it again. Canelo still has stamina issues. And Canelo basically feels comfortable after you make it easy for him to get in. He doesn't know how to get in on his own. He's never ever had good footwork. He just have good head movement when you're throwing, shots that he can telegraph. But otherwise, nah, same Canelo, man. Same Canelo. And he's one dimensional. So go back and look. So that's why, I was saying in the last video how people keep talking about the old Canelo that was throwing combinations. What the fucking Canelo was that? Oh, the one I told you. He depends on you to be inactive and stand within his punching range. That's when he lets his hands go. When he tries to punish you. He doesn't know how to touch you, set you up, set traps. No, everything he throws, he tries to knock your head off. And that's another reason why he's always so drained, because he's throwing nothing but power shots. So it might look impressive on the punch stats to you, but no, he was gassing out in that last fight, man. So, but he knew he had to fight one. All he had to do was just keep at a pace, just keep touching him, because he's seen that Ryder had nothing. Anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think he's going to do. Do y'all think he beats Bivol? Do you think that he loses to Bivol, that he goes into a mandatory shot, his mandatory defense, whether it's Morrell or Benavides, confident? Can he shake that I lost to the same dude twice? Does he start doubting himself? Maybe, am I slipping? Do I still have it? We heard Teofimo Lopez ask that in the corner in one of his last fights, right? So, you never know the effect that things have on a fighter. But yeah, I mean, he's not an old man, no. But he definitely is one-dimensional as fuck now, and he's throwing that one punch at a time, and that people think he's just gonna, all of a sudden, next fight he's gonna do it. Every fight is different. And if he was fighting that way against a guy like John Ryder, you think he's just gonna boom, and all of a sudden Bivol's overwhelmed. Wow, this is a brand new Canelo. Nah, this is just the Canelo that we have. And Canelo don't seem to think nothing was wrong with his performance. He think he did a great job. And as long as his people around him is telling him that, no problem. He's just going to do the same thing and beat Canelo and depend on his power to get you out of there. So, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all in the next video.